Wow, we're very lucky to have the wonderful Darren Clark here chatting to us all the way from the UK. Mate, welcome, and could you start by introducing yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name's Darren Clark, all the way over, like I said, in the UK. I'm been in business now for myself about 10 years, self-employed. Before that, I was in the corporate sector. I'm a fellow dyslexic, so I was, but I didn't find out I was dyslexic until the age of 36, so quite a late diagnosis. But yeah, and I kind of run several different companies, and we also run a dyslexia group as well. So we're spreading more awareness of dyslexia.
Amazing, amazing. So what would you say in your work life is your main strength? Main strength?
I'd say it's communication, it's people. It really has. It's been the kind of the lifeblood of me to be able to kind of, you know, I've always, I don't know if it's a humbling thing. I've always spoke to the same person, you know, like they say, you know, the person pushing the trolleys to the person that's running the company. To me, you know, they're just as important. And I've been the guy who's, you know, cleaned toilets and pushed trolleys. And I've also been the guy that's run, you know, big companies as well. So I think it's the communication skill. I think because with dyslexia, the writing is always, you know, kind of, I try and move around from doing things like that. So I definitely say communication and people are my strongest skill.
And do you think connecting, for me as a dyslexic person, connecting is just, it's a need, not a want. Yeah. And I'm chatting with a lot of people about this, a lot of dyslexic people. You just recently started doing deliveries for Tesco, is that right?
Yeah, I do. This is a thing, you know, with the current situation that we're in at the moment, we had a couple of companies that we've had to kind of almost close down overnight, really, which has obviously made a huge, you know, stop to certain income that's come in, but we've adapted, and that's kind of the entrepreneurial spirit of things. But the Tesco thing was kind of two things, if I'm honest. It was one for my kind of mental health, because I felt like I still needed to do something. I'm incredibly active all the time. And always, you know, working hard and stuff. So it was a little bit selfishly in the sense that I wanted to do it for my own mental health. But the other side was kind of giving back. But this is the thing, you know, I worked for Tesco's for many years, and I was a regional manager for them. So a lot of people would feel bad walking into a store that you used to run, putting on a high vis and your boots and delivering. But for me, it was, you know, it's not that. There's no hierarchy in my kind of mind, if that makes sense.
That's awesome. Hey Darren, this is my dad here. This is Mike Hobbs here. Say hello to Darren.
Hey, how you doing?
How are you? This is my dad. He's also a dyslexic man himself, ex-secondary principal.
Ah, fantastic! Lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you. How you doing in the lockdown?
Yeah, we're doing okay. We're kind of just, so say in the UK, they're kind of we've been sort of 3, 4, about 5 weeks in lockdown now. So we're doing okay. We're keeping safe.
Awesome,
that's
mate.
Good. What is it? Be alert.
Not alarmed. Yeah.
Yes, that's the latest news. Lovely to meet you.
Yep, Dad's a sailor, a mad keen sailor. So he's sorting out his boats and stuff today. Yeah, one of the great things about this is we have to connect with the people who, you know, are closest to us, right? And we live with them. We're forced to do that.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say about Tesco was that it's that, I wonder whether, I've watched a few of your videos from the truck, and I wonder whether that you're just loving connecting with others. And I think it's so important.
I think you see, this is the thing. When we set up our own businesses, we have to do, you know, it's funny when you're employed and when you're running your own business, that people that, you know, work for someone automatically think just because you're running your own business, you're a multimillionaire, or, you know, and it's completely the opposite. Yeah. You know, you probably earn more money if you work for someone else. So a lot of people hide away from doing these part-time jobs or the side jobs that they do. And for me, I've always kind of been quite honest in sharing kind of the business journey and what we're doing as well. And I think as long as you can show the credibility of, you can still, you know, say your main core business, whatever it is, I think if you can still say, look, I can deliver this, and this is the reason I'm doing this is because of that, and it's growing. It's just sometimes people get a little bit too worried about communicating that. They think if they take on a second job or if they're doing something else, then they're not successful enough. But really, I think it just shows, even more success, because if someone's willing to do a part-time job and their business to keep their business going, then surely that shows a lot more passion, I guess. It's just probably my thought pattern on it.
Absolutely. And if you think of the Undercover Boss, I love that series.
Oh, love it.
If you think of the Undercover Boss, sometimes you just need to get onto the ground and understand what customers are dealing with and that type of thing.
Absolutely. And I think, do you know what, when I went back into Tesco's, it was quite funny because for the first couple of weeks, they a lot of the people that were there, they weren't really kind of communicating or talking with me, which was strange because I'm always kind of, chatting. They actually thought I was kind of going in there as a spy or undercover boss. It was...
And then they were disappointed when you didn't give out 10 million, £10,000 to each person.
Yeah, it's like, I bought you a new house and a boat and stuff, and yeah, I'd love to, but no.
So I've got a question for you, Darren. One of the things, there's many things in Australia we could learn from you guys in the UK about dealing with supporting dyslexic people. One of the things in Oz where I think not doing well at all, not even talking about, is those people who really don't end up learning to read and who end up in prison.
Yeah.
The two don't always connect, but maybe poverty line connects with not learning to read. So, some of these roles, some of these fairly entry-level roles, maybe say like a delivery driver for a supermarket, do you think you could do that without being able to read or low literacy level? Do you think you could do that?
Do you know what? There are, kind of a lot of entry level jobs, as they say. We ran a cleaning company, which is entry level. You think of trolley pushing or sitting on the tills and stuff. It's quite interesting, really, because I even with the big corporates, because a part of our program that we're running now is working alongside corporates, and we just started working with a big bank on this, and it's making it kind of accessibility, the dyslexic kind of side of it. And it's funny because even now when I've gone back into corporate and I'm doing the delivery round, and the amount of reading that I have to do, you have to read the sheets to say what the addresses, the names, the times. You've got a screen to do. It's all timed. There's a lot of pressure on that. So I'd say that there are. I think there's just so many things that could support it a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Definitely in the organisations. And I think when you say the poverty side of it is, if someone can't afford to be tested or screened, then and even though the UK are so far advanced in some ways in other parts of the world, especially like Africa, which I kind of go to last year, the amount of resources that they have in schools, so they'll say they'll go through so many tests and to kind of not make them dyslexic, because as soon as they label them as such as dyslexic, it then costs the school even more money to support and fund them. So there's still this massive barrier on this, and the workplace, the school's kind of up here. The workplace, I think, is that's still down. If you think about it, Jay, if you think about the transition, what in an ideal world, what we would want is someone in school being supported with their dyslexia. Then they leave school, and then they still have that same knowledge and support from, say, university or college, and then workplace. Mm-hmm. That continuous run would be, that would be, the Goldilocks, really.
Yeah, right. I totally agree. I kind of think that if you can save people from, after school, from years of sort of jumping from job to job, sort of hiding the challenges, even if they're fairly minimal, that would be just such a wonderful thing. But Darren, you're a very, well-read man and experienced man in this area. I'm going to challenge you. So hang on. Dyslexia, us dyslexics, are we just moaning about little things that don't really have a big impact? Is it a massive thing for some, or is it not? What's your answer to that?